Virginia decides. There was a lot at stake in last night's gubernatorial debate. It was the first debate and the last debate that we'll see. Democrat Abigail Spanberger and Republican Winsome Earle-Sears on the debate stage, but for many it fell flat.
The economy is one of the top issues among voters, but it also was one that was largely left out of this debate. Our Marcella Robinson saw it all unfold. She's back up with us bright and early this morning. We know you had a long night. Marcella, get us up to speed.
Yeah, good morning to you both. Well, of course, you mentioned, right, the economy is really a huge issue for voters I've talked to. It is the biggest issue in the polls, but unfortunately, that was kind of on the back burner last night. Instead, the two candidates, they really clashed over issues like political violence, specifically those text messages sent 3 years ago by Jay Jones, the violent text messages. Of course, Jones is the Democratic nominee for Attorney General, and Republican Winsome Earle-Sears, she wasted no time yesterday. In the first seconds of that debate, she turned to Abigail Spanberger and asked her if she would continue to endorse Jones despite these text messages, and Abigail Spanberger did not have a yes or no answer for that. Take a listen.
The comments that Jay Jones made are absolutely abhorrent. I denounced them when I learned of them, and I will denounce them every opportunity I get. The voters now have this information that was withheld for them.
You're running to
presumably for
Ms.
political
Earle-Sears,
reasons. But the voters now have the information, and it is up to voters to make an individual choice.
I'm wondering why my opponent won't say beyond it's abhorrent and disgusting, why she won't say it is not okay and that he must leave the race because Jay Jones advocated the murder, Abigail, the murder of a man, a former speaker, as well as his children.
We're not going to be able to get to as many topics if we keep having to give Ms. Spanberger time as you're in her.
Now, Spanberger said she was running her own race and would leave it up to voters to decide about Jones at the polls. She also went on to say that her opponent refuses to denounce this kind of rhetoric when it comes from the Republican side of the aisle. And guys, the candidates, of course, also touched on a number of other issues, including transgender student policies and bathroom policies in schools, education, and reproductive rights.
Certainly what happens in the Commonwealth, an indicator for what we could see on the national stage next year. But Marcella, before we let you go, I want to talk about the government shutdown because we know that's having an impact specifically here in Northern Virginia. What did the candidates have to say about that? How did they address it?
Yeah, Larry, we know that it's having a huge impact on Virginians. More than 100,000 federal jobs and people impacted, not just by the shutdown, but over the last 9-10 months with those mass layoffs. Winsome Earle-Sears did not criticize President Trump. She did not answer the question whether or not she would ask Trump to end the shutdown if she were governor. Meantime, Spanberger took a different stance on this and said that she would ask everyone to come to the table, including the two Virginia senators, Tim Kaine and Mark Warner, to come to an end of the shutdown. But guys, all in all, this was really a contentious night. In fact, neither one of the candidates stayed afterwards to address reporters. They just left the building immediately. I also want to mention that, if you ask the Democrats what happened last night, they say that the lieutenant governor's behavior was unhinged. Meanwhile, Republicans are calling this a victory. But, just a lot of unanswered questions still out there this morning for those voters heading into Election Day. Yeah,
and no doubt that could potentially have an impact as voters are currently voting right now. Right. November 4th is Election Day. Of course, we will see how it all shapes up. Marcella Robertson, good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.